But at that point, I knew all my beliefs were validated. That sure enough, the aliens are there and they're right outside of my tent, and that's who was walking around scaring the hell out of us and going through my stuff and making these wisp sounds all around me and stuff. And I think that's why when I was there earlier today, that day I heard that sound. I remember thinking to myself, okay, where have I heard that sound before? Well, it's really weird because when they came back here to the house about 2 weeks after this happened, when they got Tina, my wife, and they kind of put her aside for 5 hours, I heard that sound, and that's when I remembered I heard it at the mountains. But anyway, so as I'm there and laying there, I sit up, and I see these sounds, saw that light. Adolf the next day said that he had seen the light too, and he was staring at it for a long time. What's really weird is that we all had the exact same thing. We felt and heard and thought the exact same thing, but no one knew anything until we saw each other the next morning. Well, after I heard that sound, that little thing, and the lights came, and I'm laying there, I remember just lying there and being scared to death and petrified and wanting to get up. Well, eventually, I got up, and I think I looked at, I remember when I was laying there, I was trying to turn my watch on. I have a little watch, and I was trying to see what time it was, to see when that sun was going to come up, because I don't like this anymore. And I'm pushing the button, but it's not lighting up. And I have my lantern in my hand, but either I can't push it or I do, it doesn't work. I think I just couldn't push it. Well, I think they left, it seemed like early morning. When Ken yelled out, "No!" I remember at some time after that, for it seemed like a long time, hearing someone or something in the back breaking sticks, like tick, 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 tick. So I was mesmerized like this. It seemed like a long time trying to figure out what kind of animal will be back there snapping twigs, I'm thinking to myself. Well, AD heard the same thing, and that's why I think that they take out two and deal with one, and they mesmerize you or preoccupy you for a long time. And so I'm trying to listen for these sounds, trying to figure what kind of animal, what will make these, what's chewing these sticks or breaking these sticks behind my tent or up the road a piece. Well, the next day he got out, said he had the same exact sticks. He saw that one light come through his car, and he remembers lying in his tent, and you'll talk to him about it. In his 4-1, I'm thinking, saying, and these are, I want to pretty much quote, laying in his 4-1 and going, shit, they can see me. They can see in my window, because they're tinted around his windows and his back window, not his windshield, obviously not tinted. He remembers laying down and going, shit, they can see me. They can freaking see me. They can look inside and they can see me. I gotta hide, they can see me. And kind of feeling his car move like someone was leaning on their car or doing something like that. And that's where he found the other handprint. Because maybe that's what it was. They were looking into him. He remembers being really scared, thinking, shit, they can look into me, and they're looking at me, and they can see me. That night, I was in my tent, and I was so scared, because I'm telling myself, as sure as I'm talking to you guys now, I'm going, there's something right outside of my tent, looking at me. It's right there, and I know they're there. I know they're there, but I can't get up. I can't do anything. They're not people. They're not a bear, but they're right there, and they're right there, and now they're right there, and they're just right there. And it's dark, and it's windy, and I'm just going, they're right there. I can't. Someone get up and get them. Someone do something. Honk your horn or open your door or anything, whatever, because they're right there. I know they're right there. And Ken said the same thing. They're right there, but you can't see out of your tent. A little bit of light in your tent that exists just from having the stars and the moons, half of them, whatever moon it was, but not enough to see anything, obviously. But he was sure, just like, hey, there's someone, 3 feet away from my hand is an alien thing, stuff, something, and I can't get up and I can't see them, and they're right there. I could just feel them. I could feel them 4 feet away from me, right there outside of my tent, looking at me or walking on my tarp and making noises and scaring the shit out of me. But they're right there. Well, eventually, it seemed like it stopped, or they left, or it just kind of like ended, and I was starving. I remember being really hungry, and so I said, I just can't take it. I just need to get up. So I unzipped my tent, I got up, and I went outside. I'm looking around, and nothing was out there, but I was trying to guess. This is about probably 3 in the morning. I think it was like 3:30 in the morning. My light earlier wouldn't work when they were out doing stuff. It didn't work. so I couldn't really see what time it was. I think it's about 3:34 in the morning. Light, and it got light enough in about 2 hours later. So about an hour and a half later, the sun came up. I'm gonna get up. I was eating. I was gonna say, I can't be scared. I've got to get up. I just got to get up because they're not gonna kill me. They haven't done anything to me. They're not a bear. So I just need to get out of this tent and get up. And I can't be this scared anymore. But when I got up and ate, and the next day, no one even knew I got up. Ate didn't hear me, and laughing because Ken didn't hear me. So because he probably had sucked his ass up to the shit, so he couldn't hear me because he wasn't there. That's why he wouldn't hear me, because his tent wasn't there and he wasn't. We were kind of joking around that he sucked his butt up. That's why I didn't hear you. Wasn't there. Well, anyway, not funny now. It wasn't funny then. So, and it's really funny. I think that the night, fortunately, they abducted Ken. I think they took Ken up, or whatever they do, or I don't know, and they put me and AD there and put us aside. Because I remember being there. I think I shouldn't say. I think I was there the whole night. The next day, got up in the morning, and the first thing me and Adolf said, we looked at her like, what the hell was that? I'm like, thank God there's light. Oh, God, there's light. Good. It's day. And we just like, what the hell? And we're relaying the same thing. The swishing sounds, the breaking sticks, the freaking light in the side of my tent. Kenneth saying that he thought it was us outside. The people walking around looking through our stuff, walking on our tarps, and us thinking it was each other, and the whole thing. We're just like yapping on. We ate breakfast and just BS about it. We went fishing, but it's really weird because even then you were still, I want to say, someone in kind of fog, semi-anesthetized, because you still really weren't fully aware, able to comprehend what happened. In full, in total, but you knew, and you were still like, wow, man. So the next day we're talking about it and how we heard the swishing sound, looking for footprints, and how I heard the sound and the tent on fire and Ken dragging his thing in front of me and the sticks breaking, the light, and all these things like that. But we didn't think much of it. And this is Saturday morning when I woke up, and being that scared, the first thing that said is, why the hell didn't you go home? So that's a good question. Next morning, I should have got my butt up and packed and just bailed. But you're compelled to stay. It's like you're compelled to go to the hills. You're just compelled. It's not a matter of choice, really. It's what you do. And we stayed again the whole day, and we just kicked back and had a couple beers and hiked around, usual stuff. Talked about it pretty much all day, about what happened. This is Saturday, and I remember. I'll have to refer my notes. I think it was Friday night. No, I'm sorry. This is Saturday. Saturday is when I got abducted. So Saturday came. The day was fine. Saturday night came. This is really strange. It's colder than hell. I was so tired from not sleeping the night before. I just had to go to bed, or I needed to go to bed. But I was excited to go to bed again. I had that feeling like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. I need to go to bed. Yeah, I get my tan right now. I went to bed at 5:30. I had ever been to bed at 5:30, camping, never. In 20-some, 25, 30 years, whatever it is now. Not 30 years, 28 years camping-ish. And I remember it's 5:30, it's dark. I said, I'm going to go to bed because I was tired. And I remember laying down thinking, oh God, maybe hope this doesn't happen again. Because once you're in a tent, it's like, okay, this is not going to be good. I hear little swishing sounds, and I'm feeling that right in here. I feel a little bit twisted. Shortly after I went to bed, I went to bed about 5:30. I went to bed about an hour later. They were out there having a beer. They had a big bonfire going, and lying there. And again, there's no one there. It's pitch black. There's starlight out, and there was a fire going. And then Adolf went to bed first, like probably we'll say 6:30, and then Kenneth is there, and all of a sudden I'm in my tent trying to sleep, saying, God, please sleep, please let me sleep, please don't let this happen again. I heard Kenneth saying, that's how you suckers do it. That's why we can't see you. That's how you do it. And I'm getting really scared again because it's all coming back like a laugh. It's all happening again. I go, Kenneth. Yeah, Kenneth. He goes, oh, yeah. I go, man, you're scaring the shit. Go to bed. He's eating chips or something. I don't know what he's doing, but. And actually, I don't think he remembers saying what he said. That's what I told him, man, go to freaking bed. Oh, okay. And he just drank. I think he had, I don't know, some scotch or something. He goes, I think the next day he said, he just got ripped because he wanted to go to sleep. He didn't want to be aware of anything on the path all drunk, basically, not dealing with light stuff. So he just got bombing. Lucky sucker. That way you don't see no lights. When you don't know it's because you're out, you know. And I told him when he said, "That's how you do it. That's how you sucker do it. That's why we can't see you." I told him, "Hey, get it. What? What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm up, man. Go to freaking bed, dude. You're scaring the shit out of me. Go to bed." I go, "Oh, okay." So we went basically packed out Friday night. And this is probably not even 8 o'clock. And this Friday was the scariest night of my entire life until I think Saturday night. And as I think back to Friday was worse, but this lasted forever, and I didn't remember sleeping. Saturday night came, I'm lying in bed in my cot, and all of a sudden it starts again, and here this feeling comes, and here I'm getting disoriented. Because on Friday, what would happen is I would always pop up and thinking that I got spun around, like, well, how come is the road back there now, or is that the road? Is this my right, or is that my right? If this is my right, then the fire's over here, then how come the tent's right? I mean, it was just complete disorientation the whole night. Well, Saturday night came, I'm going to bed early, and I'm lying there, and it's windy, and all of a sudden, I remember this one was, when I'm lying there was, I heard there's 3 events that happened to me Saturday that changed my life forever, and that will never, I'll never be the same. When I'm lying there, and I didn't see these lights like I did the first night, but I'm lying there, and all of a sudden well, let me back up here. And my tent door is right to my left, and there's a zipper. It zips like this. The first I remember thinking to myself, man, them tickers are right there. They're going to unzip my tent. To get here, I thought they were kind of undo my zipper of the tent, but it's kind of leaving stuck. I'm going, oh, shit, they're picking my tent. Well, I'm lying there again like this. This is a fire right here, a few from my tent. Here's Kenneth, and this again would be looking almost northeast, is this direction here. And all of a sudden I'm lying there, and this all feelings are coming back again. I'm getting scared again. I'm trying to fight it, and all of a sudden, to my left, which is my north, as clear as a bell, I hear these 2, I would call them electronic tasers, going zoom, zoom. And it was the feeling of a coiled energy being shot at me, and there's 2, and to the point where it was physical, yet you could actually hear it at the same time. So when I'm sitting there, all of a sudden I'm lying in bed, and all of a sudden I think I pop up here, zoom, zoom, coming like right at me, but from this direction, like I got shot twice. And I say shot because I could remember it being like a coiled energy, where you could feel it. And I remember when I was lying there, and I heard it, I went like boom, boom, like oh, like I was shot. That's why I said shot. And like boom, oh, and I remember kind of being like, I want to say energy, physical, yet not physical, but tangible, but definitely real. Because when I got the 2 shots, I remember being like, again, tased, like bam, bam, and I was like, oh, they got me. And I remember like on Star Trek, or like on that other movie, with Kirk Douglas, not Kirk Douglas, where they go through the portal and they get to it's ancient Egypt. Stargate. Thank you. Where when they go through the gate and they get atomized, and they get atomized, and they kind of like put their hands in that water and they get atomized. Well, lying there, remember feeling to myself that I'm going like, I'm literally being pulled apart by atoms, and I'm being rearranged and magnetized, like they're just sucking all of me towards them. And I remember holding on to my bunk, trying not to fall off of my bed, which I mean I have to fall up and then over. But I remember I'm holding on, but I feel like I'm going, like I'm being atomized and pulled by a big giant magnet. Well, I read the book later on after this happened, and I thought, well, in my mind and in my world of reference here, gravity, etc., I was trying not to fall down. Well, I think I was probably not trying to be pulled up, not to fall up. But in my mind, I'm holding on to my cot, but I'm being sucked out of there. So that was 1/1000. The next thing I know, this is at night, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, I don't remember. The next thing I know, I was that was 1000. I'm waking up and I'm laying in the cot, and all of a sudden I wake up like this, and it's 6 hours later, and I thought those suckers just dropped me off in here. They just put me back, and I just saw them close my door on my on the tent. And what's weird is I'm sitting at my tent, and I'm thinking, you're just right there, aren't you? You just brought me back, and it's 5 in the morning now, and this was pulled me up at 9. That got sucked up at 9 thing. But I remember thinking that it seemed to happen like 1,000, 2,000. I'm popping up like this, and I'm looking at my tent, and I'm going, those little idiots just put me in here and put that damn door down, and they just zipped it, and I'm looking at them, but I can't see. Well, it's odd. I'm looking at my tent, and I'm sitting up like this, and I think I just like was put back, or I guess. And I'm looking at my tent, and I can't. My mind does not register what I see. I see a big blackness. I don't see black. I just don't see anything. That's why I thought that they had put me back in, and I'm looking at them. I'm looking at them, but I can't see them. My mind is. They won't allow me to see them, but I'm looking at them. My eyes see them. My mind doesn't register that they're there. If I'm looking at it like this, I'm going to go, man, suckers are right there, and they just put me back in there, and I can't. They're right there, and they zip me back up, and they put me in there, and I can't do anything, but they're right there, and then I just went to sleep. And that was 3,000. Let me tell you what happened with 2,000. On 1,000, I got shot. 2,000, I'm lying in my cot, and I'm crying like I was a child, and I'm so scared. And I remember distinctly staying lying. I thought I was in my cot lying, like in a fetal position. But then I think I remember being very dark and very cold. I thought maybe it's like metal. But I'm lying there, I'm going, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I don't like this. I don't want to be here. Get me out of here. This depth of fear and despair and helplessness and hopelessness and just complete, utter fear. I don't want to be here. I'm lined up in a little ball. I'm on my side somewhere. And I realized later on I was probably on a ship somewhere, on a table or something, lying there, scared to death. And I think had no clothes on and just lying there like this, not wanting to be there. And then I remember somehow I got soothed, or they come and calm me very easily, but I got calmed and then I got over it. But in my mind, it was 1,000, the lights, 2,000, I don't want to be here, 3,000. I'm sitting up and I'm going right there. They just put me in there. They close the door and I'm looking at them, but I can't see them because I got my mind all screwed with. Well, in my mind, it was 1,000, 2,000, but actually it was like 8:30, 9:30 p.m. and then woke up and it was 5 p.m. But to me, it's like the whole middle were missing. And then I was lying there and I sat up. I could have sworn, I know that they're right there, but I can't see them because they do stuff so you can't, your mind sees it, but your eyes will only see what your mind tells you see, I guess is the way I explain it. And they cut that link so that your eyes still see it physically, but your mind doesn't understand it and can't process it or can't absorb it and take it in. But I'm just staring at this big black thing, and it's them put me back in here. And I think what I've realized now is that when they abduct you, and my 4 experiences is that they have to like a rule, if you will. I'm thinking, okay, you abduct somebody, don't leave until you see him wake up, or don't just jump off and bail, because when I get abducted, now I know that when they just like snap me out of it, I could almost sense that they're just walking. When I jumped up when I was at the camp, they were just like zipping, like they zipped up like this, and then snapped. Like, oh damn, that was them. They're right there. At the house, when I came back, it's like, oh. And I remember thinking, did I just see someone walk right behind that little dark shadow right there? Like they were looking like this, and they went back when they saw me pick my head up. Almost like they have to make sure you're okay before they leave. They don't just like set your butt there and bail out. They, I guess, set your butt there and push the button in there and say, yeah, he's okay. No. Like as though we would when we go to Africa and get a gazelle. We do our stuff and we kind of let him go and watch him, and he gets up and he takes off. But they don't leave until they see the gazelle take off. Well, I guess it's kind of akin to that. But that Sunday morning we got up, and after this happened, I didn't really comprehend this whole thing. Adolf just remember saying that was the scariest night he had his whole life, because he knew that they were there, and he couldn't sleep. And he woke up and he just wanted it to be light. He was just saying, man, just let it be light. Just come on, son. I woke up. It was already kind of sun. I was already groggy. I got up with the sun, and the first thing we did, we looked at each other, we started packing up. We just bailed. We just got out of there. I had to go. I got my car and I gone. I was a half hour ahead for them. I just threw a crap in my truck and I go on my own, driving the whole way. And I was really just not right. And I got home, and as I got home, I'm beginning to feel pretty good. This is Sunday morning now. I'm getting to feel really good. I'm starting to feel like, man, I'm feeling pretty good. You know, what kind of drugs am I on? Because none that I took or none that I had, but I'm feeling real good here. Like, ooh, happy days. That's what my mom had said when I came back. Well, you seem awfully happy. And it's weird because you shouldn't be that happy when on the worst days of your life. You shouldn't feel that happy the next day. Like, yeah, life is good. Here we go. I had got back home, and I was kind of joking about it. Hey, T, we got abducted. No, we didn't. And then about a half hour later, I get a call from Adolf, and he's coming down the road from his cell phone, and he says, "Did you guys do anything to my truck? What'd you do to my truck?" I'm telling him, what do you mean? He goes, "You playing jokes on me? What the hell, guys? What the hell were you doing? Like, what were we doing?" He goes, "No, really. What'd you guys do? What'd you guys do? Who was pushing? You know, who's screwing around? Who's joking around?" I go, "Oh, no one's joking around. No one's screwing around." He goes, "Don't move." I go, "Oh," and I knew it was something to do with this stuff. I just knew. He goes, "Don't move. I'll be right there." And he called from the foothills, and he's about half an hour, 20 minutes away. And when he came up with his truck, is when he showed me the handprint on his hood, and I showed the T. Christelle was here, daughter, and I and Kenneth were here. He brought the truck in, and when I saw that hand, the first thing I thought was, we were going like, man, that ain't freaking my handprint on the hood. And he was like, that ain't my handprint. And it's like, it's too small to be ours anyway. And they were going, who was it? Well, when we're there, no one's there, just us. One thing we do whenever we go up the hill, we always clean our trucks and get them all cleaned up for the trip, which is what we always have done. And he has a red 4Runner, and this was, you know, very glossy paint. It was clean. What happened was, it's very dry up there. It's very, very, very dry ice type dry, and very, very cold. Fine layer of dust set on the car. I mean, fine layer of dust, finer than dust. Really, really fine dust. Again, it's bone dry up in this place, very, very dry. And apparently when he recalls saying that they were looking at him through his truck, well, what we found out was they were most likely leaning on the truck, looking in on his windshield like this. And he remembers thinking, was he dreaming that or not? But, well, the handprints we saw on the truck, we saw two of them, would be as though you were leaning on someone's truck and looking in. And what's odd about these hands is we've decided, or we're kind of going back and forth trying to find out what our theory is. There's either two aliens, or there's either two aliens, and the aliens that are on his hood were either very, very tall, or were floating or flying, whatever they do. Let's kind of explain that swishing sound we kept hearing around us, not so much by us. But on the truck, if you look at the hood, the way the handprints are, you'll see one handprint here and then one here. That's all you were leaning in to look. Or you were kind of floating up, looking down and looking like this. Or you're really tall, because the prints are pretty far in the hood, so you have to be real tall to have that far. What's neat about the hands that we found out too is that there's like 8 traits that make that hand absolutely unique as a hand, but not as our hand. That's something that when we look at the photographs, we'll kind of shows it. We had gotten back and from the trip, and I was really happy. I was feeling really good, but then I started feeling really bad. This post thing started kind of feeling post-traumatic stress stuff. I don't know what it was, but after the it's like when you go to a dentist, you laugh at guys, you're all happy, they pull out your tooth, and who wants to laugh and they yank out your tooth, but you don't care because you're happy days. Well, after this, I was still like, it was still lasting, I was still kind of foggy. But as the anesthesia or whatever they give you wears off, you begin to settle down and not really be happy, and actually become just opposite, very, very, very scared. And then when I had coming back, I remember the first nights, I came back 10/11 02, so we're 10/11/02 was a Friday, 03 was a Saturday, and I'm sorry, October 11th was a Friday, and then the 12th was a Saturday, the 13th was a Sunday. So on the 14th and there, when I came back home, I remember for a couple weeks after, actually a couple months, I would be scared to be by myself. I'm never scared to be by myself. Never bothers me. But after that, when everyone would leave, kids would go to work, and my wife would be out, either at work or doing something in the evening time, I would have to turn on every light just about in the house, and trip and look and check these doors like probably 9 times every hour. Go around and around and around and around and just check and check and check and be so scared and so paranoid and so not able to sleep and so really afraid. But even afraid to even tell anybody. I would be in the room up here where I'd sleep, and I remember when people would go, I'm okay in the day was always fine, but it's at night. Nights were just not really good. And it's really strange because, and I think back about it, because Adolf asked, well, do you have any behaviors, I mean, what I said earlier about people, the theory is a very long-term study. You know, do you ever do things that are a little odd, unexplainable, that just, you don't know a reason why? Well, one thing he and I used to do was just go to 10 block 3 and then 2 hours further by ourselves and come back home. Why? We don't know. But when I thought about it, when it's dark, and I've done this for many, 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 many years, I can't have any window as to the outside window uncovered. The sun begins to go down, I got every shade in my house covered. And I lock my doors, and I always have 10 times. And I always keep my curtains closed and windows drawn. Not. I said once I came back, and I'm just now getting again. It's been a while, and I'm still at a point where every once in a while I get flashbacks or something happens and I get really scared. And it's weird because now when they have come back 3 times to the house, before they come back each time, I know they're going to come back now. I can feel it before they not even comes. You know, I think they're going to be here. Well, then I meant to tell you that I forgot to tell you about the second night, Saturday night. I remember when I thought I was laying in my cot, like when I was curling up and I was being real scared, feeling that somebody had a blood pressure cuff on my hand going. And I remember telling them, "Ow, ow, ow! No, stop it! It's hurting! It's hurting! You need to stop that! Or you need to stop doing what you're doing." But I was telling someone not that it's hurting me, and then I remember after I said that I could sense that they were that my arm was being put down where it was. They released the cup or whatever, and I said, "Oh, thank you." But I remember distinctly saying, "Ow, ow, ow, ow! That hurts! That hurts! That hurts! Ow, ow, ow! Stop!" Like, and then I told them, "It's hurting! Don't stop that! I can't! It hurts my arm." And then I remember it was relieved and they put it back down. Anyway, I just thought about that when we were off camera for a second. But when we came back, the first couple weeks, I'd hate night. Day was okay, but man, dark time come, I just hated it. Check the windows 90 times, the doors 50 times, and make sure I had 10 lights on at all times. Before that, I had to have it pitch dark and sleep really good, but still all my curtains drawn though. And when I would come back here at the house, I remember, and I showed everybody the hand, the first reaction was the hand was like, whoa. Not like, how'd you fake that hand, or how'd you make that hand, but what the hell kind of hand is that? Is it primate? Is it human? But it's just really distinct. Even the kids saw that when they had first come back in Milk and Tea. Since that's happened, as I said, they've been here 3 times. That I'm aware of, and I know that because I've seen the lights 3 times. And I read in that book that Dr. Jacobs and Dr. Mack had written, that it says that most people who have been abducted have a sequence. It's a light, and you're awakened, or you're awakened, you're asleep. It's at night, you're awakened by a light, and then they see beings at some point, and then you wake up and there's all the time it's gone. Well, I haven't seen any beings, but I remember. But I remember clearly the first time when when I was in bed and I popped up at that 10:30. It's funny because I've seen that every time they come around 10:30 and they're gone right about sunup, or they bring me back. I don't know, who knows. But when I was at home, I was asleep, and I was laying down, and all of a sudden, poof! I thought someone took my picture, and I woke up. A big flash of light woke me up, and I'm laying there, and all of a sudden I turn around, and I'm looking up at my wall, and I'm seeing the exact same pattern of light I saw in my tent, and I'm going, that's freaky. That's so much like these lights I saw when I was camping. And I said, man, that can't be a car because I'm on the second story, and there's no way the lights, and we'll look at it later, can get there unless their lights are up in the sky. So like, well, no cars that tall, I know. But, and this is really weird, when people talk about telepathy, and it's understood as being, yeah, it's a phenomenon, it's probably common, I don't know if it actually happens, but it does exist. Now I can honestly say this is telepathy. They talk to you telepathically, as the book has said. And I saw the lights this is like the first time they came back. I remember laying down there in the bed, looking at those lights, thinking, oh man, that's the same things. And before it even came, I remember feeling anxious, scared, nervous, the whole thing. Again, because when they come, for some reason, I don't know if they tell you or they get you prepped, but I remember as I look back, and now I recognize the pattern of how it begins, the anxiousness, the fear, the anxiety, and these kind of things. Well, when I was sitting there in bed, and I woke up and I saw those lights, someone told me, do not tell T, it will scare her. Because I saw the lights, and they're right there in the corner of my wall again, and I'm looking up there, and I'm saying, man, I should tell T, because then she'll know this is what I saw in the mountains, and yeah, see, this is how they come in and get you. But I was told, do not tell T, it will scare her. And I remember that phrase. I'll remember that phrase. So I didn't tell her. But when they said it, it's not like when people say you hear a little voice in your head when it says, don't cut school, we're going to get caught, or don't run that red line, or you better slow down. That's your conscious sometimes, or your second half, or whatever you want to call it, thinking out loud. But when they spoke to me, that one time only, it wasn't they give me thoughts, they were telling me just telepathically in my brain, don't tell T, it will scare her. I didn't tell her, and so I didn't tell her. Later on, we realized that they had, when they come, that time, they had taken her out, and she is staring out the window probably for at least 5 hours, where in her mind it was a couple minutes. But again, as you look back at things, they become a bit more clear. They've been here at least 3 times, I think 4. But I think one time they came, they just put a big something on my head, and then they just did what they did, and then they left. It wasn't very long, by myself, and I was really scared, and I was watching the TV, and I remember feeling like I was all drugged again, like, oh, thinking to myself, like, oh, this must, it's really weird about this, but going, man, I was watching TV, and I was sitting up now, because this is like right after this happened in October of 2002, and I remember thinking now that for a long time, I couldn't sleep like I could lay down, get comfortable, crash out. I sleep up a lot because I was afraid if they came, I'd go to trick them, to catch some guy, not let them come in my house. I wanted to be up and be ready and be aware and be alert. And so I was sitting up and I was fighting. I was trying not to fall. I was so tired because I hadn't slept for a while because I was afraid to sleep. But I was sitting up, and I remember everyone was gone at night, and it was kind of late. And I was thinking, don't fall asleep because I'm going to come get you. And I remember when I was sitting up, thinking they're going to be here, and no one's here, just me, and turn all the lights on the house. And I remember they came in, and I was like, oh, this must how it feels when they drug you to get you ready for it. And all of a sudden I remember I was sitting there up in my bed, and I was saying, don't put that on me. I don't want that on me. I like a garbage can put on my head, a trash can. I was telling them, don't. I was trying to tell them don't, and all of a sudden, once again, I said, okay, just, all right. And I swear, for 20 minutes, they put a big brain scan or garbage can on my head, and then they just left and they bailed. And I thought it was just a dream. I remember maybe I was just fading in and out. But it wasn't. When they came back the first time, and digress a little bit, when they came back the first time, they're telling me not to tell T. Before they came, I remember I was in the bed, and I heard those sounds again, and I thought, oh man, that's a freaking interesting. We ever heard that sound before? And it was dark. We heard that woodpeckers don't peck at night. And then I heard that. I was like, oh my God, that's so freaking weird. Where have I heard that sound before? And at the same time, I heard it's click, click, click. Oh, remember your kids have little clickers, those little like frog clickers out there for the pissed off adults to piss them off because it's clicked. I mean, they'll click, click, click. I mean, I've been a dad, so with no kids. Those little click things. I remember lying there in bed thinking to myself, I hear that sound. I hear this click, 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 click. And I thought, don't look outside. Shit, they're here. Don't get up. Don't look out the window. They want to trick you. Don't look out the window. Ignore those little sounds. That's how they want to get your attention. So don't, just ignore them. Don't listen to them. But that, when they're going that click, 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 it was out here and goes, I thought, what's this little kid outside in the backyard of my field at 10 a little clicker? Kind of pissed me off. Well, I'll see who's going to be in. There's no one around here. little frog clicker like that. But they were clicking, and I could think that they were like communicating or they were doing something. So I heard the click, 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 and the and I said, like that, and I said to myself, okay, lay down out of bed. Don't look left. Don't look out the window because they want you to look out. They're here. Damn it, they're here. Don't. Just ignore them. They'll go away. Ignore them. Go away. And then they came that night, and then they didn't go away until the next day, but they had taken out T out for quite some time. And then we have this little dog here, and it was funny because when we have him, I noticed that they pull T out and him out and isolate me, and they send them downstairs because I get up very early. She gets up late for our hours of work are very different, and I go to bed very early. And it just happened that the 3 times it happened, they've kind of taken him out of the picture, so to speak. And I'll tell you this a little more in detail, but on the 3rd abduction, I remember the first thing was I saw that same exact color light. Maybe we had the one in the mountains, which I saw the tent, then we saw in the house on my bedroom, and then once I saw it on my door, same color, and he was barking at it, and I thought I told T about 10:30 night. I said, "Hey, you just see those lights, those little lights," and then I don't know, but I was all screwed up again. Well, the 3rd time they were here, the lights I saw the same pattern. It was big, and it was on my little wall up here, and I'm in my bed, and I'm looking at it like that, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if that's a car, I should hear the car come by and I never heard the car go by. Then I just remember waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, looking outside the balcony at this dog thing, where it was. But a pattern of lights is distinct, and that's why I drew those diagrams of them. I have all 3 of them. What's the same is the color is exactly the same, and there's little round lights in a bigger framework of somewhat softer lights. And it's not like a beam, it's just it just becomes there on the wall. And I've seen them always up here. The one I've seen them 3 times are up here, and I'm trying to think, if we were a car, how in the hell would you get that angle to show through these windows and to leave that pattern? Well, I concluded, and because then I know when I do see cars, I'll study and like, man, that ain't even what I saw, not even close. It's yellow, orange, it's down there, and of course you hear the car. That's always a big clue. And all the time these cars, these lights coming up, I'm thinking, okay, where's the car? And then I never hear the car, and I'd wake up the next day or hours later, and then I'd figure out what happened. But I drew the diagram. We could show the diagrams a little bit later, and it shows the angle from where I see it from. And this was in a little doggy right there, Snickers. Was weird was when it was first was happening, I knew that they were starting to kind of hang around and kind of I don't know what they were doing. He would know it, and he would bark ferociously at nothing. And when we were by ourselves, he'd scare the hell out of me because he'd be barking and he'd be chasing someone and no one here but me. And sure enough, that night later on, something would happen. So I think he kind of gets somewhat. He's aware from his senses, I guess, as dogs have that. Those guys come, and when they do come. What's funny is that I think they befriended him. I think they're friends with him now. They pet him, I just think. I don't know why. But for the first couple of times, he would bark and he'd be scared. Then one time, towards the last time I think it was, he was walking around the house one time, all happy with a little tail wagging, trying to find his I thought Anthony or son or somebody, and he was looking for somebody, and like he'd always just do weird things and wagging his tail, and sure enough, that night, the fourth time or the third time, something would happen or something would not be right. And it's not long ago, one time I remember we were downstairs and I had this really odd feeling again. I kept, oh God, what is this? Yeah, he was downstairs and I was down here and he was looking at the stairs and he was barking. And it's as though they're invisible. He's barking at somebody who is 10 feet from his face. They're strangers. He's barking. But I'm looking, I don't see anything. But he knows. He's barking like there's a burglar right in front of him. I think they're his friends now because one time I saw him downstairs wagging his tail and he's like, I go, Anthony, is that you? Because I'm looking downstairs. I was home. I'm looking down the stairs. I could see him looking at someone all happy and smiling and wagging his tail. But I came down, there was no one there, and I thought, what the heck? I thought maybe Anthony was here and I didn't hear him come in, but that wasn't the case. So I think either that they pet him or something because he ain't scared anymore. I'm just guessing. I mean, well, who knows? But I don't think the fear isn't there like it used to be, because it seems to me like he doesn't do it like he used to do so much. He'll just bark at a wall. This big space. He'll be, Arr! You'll think it's a wall. What are you barking at? There's no one there. Arr! I pull him and jump right back. Arr! But the same bark as though somebody was there, like a mailman, a stranger. He'd bark exactly the same way, but he'd bark at space and nothing. And he knew something was there. He was scared. He was barking. He was not right. And I would just say, oh great, a long night for me. But turn on some more lights. Turn on a little more TVs now. I got 4 TVs on, 9 lights on. Doors gonna check about 40 times. I check the windows. They're all latched. That's kind of where I got myself now. But I like to show you where the lights come from, and I'll show you where they are, where the patterns are, and where I lay, where I am, and where he was, and where I wake up, and certain things like that. And then also show you the actual site where it took place in the mountains. And of course, the photograph of the hand, which is most unique and extraordinary. Show you that also, and then kind of put the pieces together, and hopefully, I get the other 2 here. AD, he interview him and ask for his recollection. And Kenneth, though, it may have been a little much for him because we haven't. I haven't talked to him since I think once. I think I saw him downtown once, but he hasn't been the same. And really, I don't think he wants to go camping again after that. And he'll talk about it. So he will talk about it. He and I always talk about it because we're intrigued by it. But Kenneth doesn't want anything to do with it too much anymore. I don't think, because it was just probably too much for him. But me, I don't. I just can't get over it. I can't get around it. I can't get through it. But I'm getting a little bit better as time goes by. I've learned to live with it, come accept it. And what's kind of weird is that as scary as it is, I can't wait till they come again, because I keep thinking I'm going to outsmart them. I'm going to catch them. I'm going to talk to them. I want to ask them what they're doing, where they come from, why are we the way we are. Can't be pictured. Got any souvenirs from wherever you came from? Piece of metal maybe, that bends. But you think I had next to my bed my camera ready, and okay, next time I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get those. I'm gonna outsmart them. Well, you have no control, and you have no ability to affect your environment or yourself or your actions. You just lie and just wait, and then you do as you're I guess told or you're bent to do. But I keep hoping they'll come back, and at the same time I hope they never do. But then I need to talk to them and see what this is about, and just to make sure that to kind of put the final touches and dot the I's and cross the T's, if you will, on everything that I went through, that I can just know, just to know. And it's funny because I know there's a link between them, that being, world of beings, us, and our theory, and primates. people have always talked about the missing link, but we have phrased it the added link. That we're looking in the wrong direction. We're looking for what was gone. Well, we look for what was added, not what's been taken away. And when you see the hand, it's so primordial in nature. It's between like an, if you will, a primate, an ape, an ancient caveman, if you will, and us. And there's this hand, and you can see traits of both ours and theirs in the alien hand that we got at the trip. And I remember reading something in the book, and one of the gals was telling, when she was in hypnosis, that you don't have the right to do this. Don't do this. She's being hypnosis. She's talking to Dr. I think Jacob at the time. And he says, you don't have the right. And he says, yes, we do have the right. And it kind of makes sense, because it's like, well, I think in some respect, in some level, at some point, us and them are we. I don't know how the link is, but I think it's genetic. I think it's very, 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 very old. And if I were to theorize, I think that at some point, these early primate things came in, what do you want to call them, that world, if you will, of life. And in our world, if you will, of life, it's society, civilization, us, people, cars, life, thoughts, caring, feelings. And its alien existence are three distinct yet unique, separate yet the same giant world, and that somehow there's strings that attach all three, us being the newest and the other two being the oldest. And you hear about the missing link. Well, our theory is, well, there's nothing missing to explain where we came from. There's something added to explain where we came from. And it was added from someone superior to us, not of this earth, but from somewhere else. And it's very interesting and intriguing to kind of follow that path, because it kind of helps explain, as good as anything else does I've ever heard, why things are the way things are. And if you see the hand, we have pictures of his hands from old books, these fossil hands, which are 18 million years old and umpteen million years old and 20 million years old, and you have my hand and his alien hand, and you'd swear that if you were to take the two, you'd have the alien hand. You took the fossilized hand and my hand, and you made one hand, well, this is what you would have, the one that we found on the truck. But that was only 2 years old. But it has traits that are 20, 30 million years old. And we showed it to the doctor, AD did, when he had his, I think his knee was bad. Physician, he goes, you use a hand like this, just out of curiosity. And the guy goes, well, it's primate, but it's not primate. And he asked where it came from. He said, okay, well, I'll never be going there again. Because he couldn't explain it. But he knew it was a hand. He just never seen one like it. And it's part us and part orangutan and part, caveman and part fossil, and very, very neat. Very neat. So when you see that, you start thinking about it, and it'll lead to places where we probably don't think that much about origins and people and spirituality and things and beginning of man and why we're here and what we're here and how do we get here, and all those kind of deep issues and thoughts. But like I said, it has more to me to explain more of the unexplainable than anything else I've read or heard or thought or been taught or in school or anything that I have experienced in my life. So I think we could the pictures will be, what they say, worth 1,000,000 years, 1,000 words, 1,000,000 years. I think that's what they say about a picture.
Yeah. Do you have any physical problems after these experiences?
I read that you're supposed to check for physical things, and I had none, right, that I could think of that I ever mentioned to you. Physical things like, but nothing physical, just profoundly psychological and mental and cognitive and emotional and things, but nothing physical, like, my legs never been the same, or one's shorter than the other one is now, or but I can tell you one thing, ever since then my mind hasn't been the same. I have never worked right since. I've never been able to think the same. I have never been able to remember the same. I've never been able to organize the same. I've never been able to I become very flighty, very drifty. Right? You ask my wife, she's the first to tell you. I mean, I'll be for like very spacey. All of a sudden I'm driving like, where the hell am I going? Or why would I go this way? I'm supposed to be going. I mean, just really, my mind's really messed up. It's getting better now, but back then, oh man, I was like really bad to where the residual of whatever it is just stays for a long time. It's still there, but not like it was before. It seems to like fade away. And I think it's kind of weird. I think too that they kind of don't want to harm us. They don't want to hurt us, and so they know we can only take so much. Again, I would, and I'd rather too, like us looking at a regular bear. You don't want to do it too much. You kill the poor thing. You want to study it and help it do whatever you can, but you don't want to mess it up. So I think they may give us a break, or they just kind of ease off sometimes, or they do what they do. But mentally, I've been kind of mugged up with it for a while. But I get through every day. It's okay.
Why do you suppose they picked you in particular?
You know, and that's why I often wonder, is it historical where it just comes through the family and your grandpa had it, your dad had it, your sister had it, you had it, or if it's at random? What I read in that one book, it said that sometimes we're just in the right place at the wrong time. And I think that's me, but Adolf has had his whole entire life. When he thinks back about it, he's had since he was a kid. I mean, he remembers lights coming through a little hole in the window when he was little. And that's why I don't remember that. I don't remember anything when I was little to that extent. I don't recall those type of things that you're supposed to have recall had to happen in your childhood. The only thing I remember, and I dream a lot, is I remember dreaming, and I always have, and I'm always up looking at stuff down. I'm floating, I'm bouncing, I'm looking at the streets and stuff. And I read in that book where they're saying that people remember dreaming that they're flying or they're above, and actually they're being sucked up. And I thought that was just a dream. I don't know if it means a 40 and everything, but you know, some of those dreams where I'm always feeling like I'm always up, looking at stuff below me. You know, I always have those dreams. Even now, I have them when I dream sometimes. But nothing real physical. And as to why, you know, I don't know. And that would be like, that's why I want to stop them guys. Hey, buddy, what gives? Just to know why. But I don't think we can. I think the key is, that's why I think we're tied together, because you hear in theory, if you go into the past, if you time travel in the past, you cannot change anything because it will affect the future, even, you know, a wing of a butterfly type thing. And so you can't go back and mess things up. Well, I think for some reason that these guys, and they want people, the question is if those who don't believe it, well, how come we don't see it? How come we don't know? It's like, I think because they can't let us know. We and us and them are so much the same, and so much linked that, like us going back in the time, if you take that twig or that twig of the tree that built the house, that, you know, I mean, there's just so many things you can't do. And if they're aware of that, then they can't affect us or impact us, because they can't any more than we can go back and take that little plant that's so not a big deal. Well, guess what? That plant became, you know, whatever. Or if I stopped the guy who shot my, you know, the paradox, if I kill the guy who killed my father or grandpa, then how can I go back and kill him if I'm not here? That type of paradox where they can't go back because we're one and the same too much. I don't know if that's true, but it would explain a lot of things in my mind why they're not known, because they can't be.
And how do you know, why are you so convinced that the things that you're seeing here in the house are not just a dream, or a trick of the mind, so to speak?
My first reaction is to do the same thing, to explain it away. It's a car, it's this, it's just a dream. As I said earlier, I'm an analyst, and I'm a business person by nature and by education and things, and by trade, and very logical and very clear thinker. I'm not an emotional, spiritual, flighty, futuristic, fantastic person. I don't think in that types of worlds. I think in what I can see and touch, to the most part. And to answer your question is, I have just stopped trying to deny and dispel and explain away what I can't explain. It's just stuff. Because who am I kidding? I mean, I basically stop kidding myself. those lights I saw, they were lights. There was no car, there were no helicopters, there were no planes. I didn't imagine the voice. I just have always been able, I guess, or have always tried to be able to be very reasonable and logical about things. And what's good about them is that that's a trick. You can't tell between reality and fiction, between reality and non-reality, dream and sleep, and that's what they want. So most people, if I had it happen to them, wouldn't even know. Oh, it's just a bad dream, I think. Oh, well, because what happened at 10/11/02, I could now recognize the exact same and similar activities and surroundings, and see, more importantly is that my wife at the house has now been involved, and so I get a little bit of validation, and things that, you know what, I am right, and if A is true and validated, that means B and C and D and E and G and F are too, because they're all the same pretty much. So, but I'm hoping to get hypnotized. I like to, because I just to know that that is not the case. That's not just things I'm imagining. But I don't think anyone can do it that clearly, without a physical evidence. But in the hand is what kind of really ties this whole thing together. The confirmation, validation, the others, and me just trusting myself in my judgment and my abilities. That don't trick yourself. You did hear that, and you did see that pattern. I know because I know. I know because I see, and I know as I'm seeing you, that's real. And those lights I saw were real. But to have others know it's real is difficult, if not impossible. But to make it as real as can be made, people who are logical will have to look at the evidence and the facts and add a teaspoon of belief, and it becomes as real as a piece of concrete.
What's your motivation for telling your story now and sharing it with other people and trying to get it out there?
Well, a couple of things. Back to what I said earlier, it seems to me that they are trying to make us aware of them, so in 25 years when they do come, we're not freaking out. We, again, have been conditioned or be conditioned to be prepared for the arrival, if you will. Going back to Roswell, again, earlier, like I said earlier, we've all explained how if we saw an alien now with a little gray guy, we wouldn't be freaked out. Had we done it in 1929 or 1930 or 1940, we would have been a whole entire thing. But our psyche in this day and age accepts the gray guys, the tall and the short, for the long term. I think that the handprint that we have will help now us get used to their hands. We know about their size, their stature, their color, their eyes, and now maybe their hand. And the hand that we have, I think, clearly shows that, oh yeah, that's an alien hand. Oh, yep, that's what the way it's supposed to look too. But I think part of the purpose I'm coming through is that, is maybe at some level, we are pawns in this overall unveiling and this whole overall preparation, just as though someone else was back in Roswell, or somebody else will be, or Barney and Betty were when they first got abducted. They were part of this plan. And we've always thought to ourselves, okay, did the aliens, are they stupid to make a mistake and they put their hand there on purpose? I mean, on accident and forgot, oops, it showed up. Because they don't want to really they don't want the evidence that they were here, or is it intentional for us to share, to gain, to unveil they, and so that when we see them in 30 years from now, we prepared for them. And that might be part of it. Also, though, I think what's more a part of it, though, is that I want people to see this, because I think there's so many people, literally thousands and millions, who need to know that, yeah, see, I knew them suckers were around. I knew they were real. There, look at that hand right there. But even more importantly, probably, I think knowledge is just knowledge of knowledge. I believe that There are things to be known to all of us for just that sake. They're an end in themselves. And I think this hand is an end of itself. And I'm just excited because it's just so cool. And I'm excited because there is nothing I've ever seen in all the shows, of all the years I've looked at, and all the things I've heard talk about. I've never seen anything like this. And I'm thinking how cool it is to talk to people and to show it to them and to share experiences and to say, yeah, you remember that? And just to help ground all my experiences and help put them in a nice place for me. But also to help the work that's been done by so many people to help, put one more straw on that camel's back of belief, if you will. That again, Dr. Jacobs and Max and certain other doctors have many, many years to kind of crown a lot of things they have said and to kind of help crown this whole world of belief. But other than that, though, I don't really have any other particular. I don't really get much thought actually. I don't think about it. I just know that it's so cool and so real, and I so want to share it and say, it's here.